Hey fellas, somebody recently commented that they missed me making my gear videos, so my videos on TRT. I miss making them too. I miss enjoying the benefits of testosterone replacement. I know if I weren't on it right now, I'd be fucking in way worse shape, and I'm already in bad shape. So, for those of you who don't know, I've recently been officially diagnosed. It's always been kind of presumed or suspected, but I've been diagnosed with seronegative autoimmune encephalitis, and that's where um, immune cells attack uh, your brain, so your brain cells, so it can cause inflammation and damage to your brain. I was just at a hospital in Colorado because I've been on rituximab, which depletes B cells, and B cells are responsible for creating antibodies, and that includes autoantibodies. And autoantibodies are the antibodies that would attack your healthy tissues, like your brain. So I was on rituximab to reduce the number of, or reduce the autoantibody production from B cells. I had some benefit from that, and then I completely fucking crashed, and I basically sent an SOS to my doctor saying I'm dying, and so they got me admitted as an inpatient in Colorado. They stuck a catheter in my neck, in my jugular vein, which is fucking very unpleasant. Don't recommend it. And they did plasma exchange, also known as plex or plasmapheresis. And the goal of this was to remove any antibodies in my blood, or yeah, in my plasma. So if I had any autoantibodies attacking my brain, they could take it out of my plasma, and I might have some benefit or some relief until my body started producing more autoantibodies. So it was basically like a rescue therapy. And it worked for like a week or like less than that. It was like I had a good day and then 2 okay days, and then I've been fucking crashing hard. That's unusual. Usually you'd expect a 2-month reprieve or something like that if you had a B cell mediated autoimmune encephalitis, because they'd remove the antibodies and it would take time for your body to produce more antibodies, autoantibodies. So my thinking on that is that there are some immune factors in my plasma that were removed that are contributing to my symptoms of encephalitis, and they were removed and allowed me to feel okay, like a little bit better for a few days, but replenished faster than autoantibodies do. That's my theory anyway, and I sent a message to my doctor, and I'll have an appointment with him on the 4th of January. But that's my theory, because usually it's supposed to last a lot longer if it's B cell mediated. Now, the fact that it didn't last long suggests that my encephalitis is more T cell mediated. And T cells are immune cells called lymphocytes. There's B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. T lymphocytes don't produce autoantibodies but can act on their own. It's complicated. There are other types of T cells, like killer T cells and helper T cells and things like that. But T cells can act on their own without producing antibodies to attack nervous tissue like your brain tissue. So my doctor said if plex plasmapheresis didn't yield significant results, then she'd be thinking it's more T cell mediated. And I had a lab come up. It was interleukin 10, and I forget why, but for some reason that triggered in my doctor's mind that it was a more T cell mediated autoimmune encephalitis, possibly verified by the fact, down the road now that I'm doing worse and that the plasmapheresis didn't last. So she started me on an oral medication called Cellep, which depletes both B and T cells. Now, Cellep is usually used as a maintenance medication for somebody who's been put in remission for autoimmune encephalitis. It suppresses both B and T cell proliferation, which just means the division of cells, so it prevents them from dividing. So that would prevent the production of autoantibodies as well as T cell mediated attack on nervous tissue, causing inflammation and damage and things like that. So they put me on Cellep, and so I'm on rituximab, the B cell depleter, right? Depletes antibodies, and then I'm going to be on Cellep, which targets T cells as well. And the immune system has more components than that. And I'm going to make a case with my doctor for cyclophosphamide, which acts on the immune system more broadly than either Cellep or rituximab. I don't think I'm going to get it because it's riskier, but while I was there, I had an EEG done overnight, and there was abnormal slowing on my EEG, which just means I have dysfunction in signaling in my brain, which was very clinically significant. I also had other labs, interleukin 10 elevated, protein elevated, intracranial pressure elevated, sort of the same things I've seen in the past that kind of point to an immune or inflammatory response. So, yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. So I've completely crashed from the plasmapheresis, the plasma exchange. I was hoping that was gonna carry me over until the Cellep, the oral medication, kicked in. The Cellep can take 3 months to kick in, so if I can't get cyclophosphamide and I'm stuck on Cellep and rituximab, which both take a long time to work, especially since I've crashed from the rituximab, it's going to take a while to build back up in my system. And I don't even know why the rituximab worked, because it did. It helped. It didn't like remove all my symptoms, and that's the goal, is to remove a majority of my symptoms so I can put in remission. But it made me feel better for a while, and I don't understand that, because it's a B-cell depleting medication, which means it would reduce the amount of autoantibodies, but so does plasmapheresis or plasma exchange, and that only lasted like 2 days of relief. So the immune system is complicated, and these drugs act on the immune system in complicated ways, probably more than I can simplify it down to like B and T cells and things like that. But anyway, that EEG, I almost skipped it. I told him, I was like, no, I don't want to do the EEG, because they hook you up with a bunch of leads and you have to have somebody watch you when you pee. I've done it before. Nothing came back last time. And the last second, like, it was like bedtime, lights were going off. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just do the EEG. And the next morning, my doctor came in and she said I had abnormal slowing on my EEG. Which is, it just represents dysfunction in signaling in my brain. So no surprise there. I'm tripping balls. So, yeah, that's fucking where I'm at right now. Merry Christmas, guys. So I probably won't update you guys again for another 3 months, because that'll be when the Cellep kicks in, and we'll see if that relieves symptoms. She said, my doctor said, the goal is remission. I asked her, is the goal for this remission? And she said yes. So the goal isn't just to like improve symptoms a little bit. It's to put me into remission so I can live a normal life again and not be stuck in my parents' basement, hanging on for dear life because I'm in so much agony. It just feels like I'm fucking super hungover, super agitated, like I'm super sick, and like my vision's all fucked up. I got tracers and visual snow, and it looks like I'm looking through water with like goggles on. So my vision's affected too, and it's not a fun time. And this will be Christmas number 3 of being sick. Last Christmas, I cried in the kitchen while nobody was there, and then I wiped my tears away, and I went into the living room to open gifts. Not a good time. I'm not having a good time right now. So I guess if I'm on benzodiazepines right now, but I'm acclimated to them, so I'm probably gonna ask my neurologist if he's willing to prescribe more, because like for whatever reason, benzodiazepines and this disease counter each other. Like benzos help me so much, and this disease is a fucking serious disease. It's your immune system attacking nervous tissue, and my med manager was like, I'm not going to prescribe you more than 4 milligrams. I understand that benzos are addictive, blah blah blah. I know it's hard to get off of, blah blah blah, but she said, I'm not going to prescribe you more than 4 milligrams, which I've been on for over a year, and because it's more than what's recommended for general anxiety disorder. I'm like, bitch, I don't have general anxiety disorder. I have autoimmune encephalitis, which is way more serious. And some of the literature goes into detail about prescribing high doses of benzodiazepines for agitation and psychosis and things like that. But I'm like, I understand how dangerous benzos are. If it's like one of the few drugs where the withdrawals could kill you if you just cold turkeyed it. But I also recognize that I need to fucking survive until I get relief or I get put into remission. So I'll probably be asking my neurologist if he thinks it's appropriate to up my benzodiazepine dose so I can manage until the Cellep kicks in. Yeah. So, sorry, guys, that I don't have like TRT content. I'm really sorry. I wish I could put out content like I used to. But I just can't right now, and I'm fucking so damn tired of being in pain that it's hard to come up with subjects to talk about, things like that. Anyway, that's just an update, is all it is. And I appreciate you guys listening, and I appreciate you guys caring and commenting and stuff. Yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys later.